In Canada's most densely populated and industrialized region, southwestern Ontario, the Niagara Escarpment rises wild and beautiful above farmlands and industry, sheltering within its meadows and forests, our heritage of unspoilt nature. With 250 miles, from Niagara Falls to Tobermory on the Bruce Peninsula. The economic value of the escarpment is manifold. Clay for bricks, limestone for building roads and making steel, gravel and sand, fruit, livestock and general farming. The whole of the Niagara Escarpment has been declared a restricted zone by the Ontario government. All building, mining, and development must have the approval of the commission set up to oversee the program, lest undesirable development would destroy its character. Areas of great natural beauty have been and are presently being developed for recreational use. These lime kilns near Milton remind us of the early settlers who took this limestone range for granted. Today, its value for recreation and study is realized. To both amateur and professional geologists, it's rewarding to explore these hills that had their beginnings in the prehistoric seas 400 million years ago. Cedar and sumac flourish in the good limestone soils. And one can find hart's tongue and holly fern, plants that are rare in North America. Alpine, but many good hills have been developed. Amongst them, Glen Eaton at Milton, Hockley, Craigley, Beaver Valley, and of course the Blue Mountain ski resorts, which are assured a good snow supply by the winds of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. The early settlers got around in winter by snowshoe, and their mills were once established on many of the fast-flowing streams. Here at Inglis Falls near Owen Sound, only the millstones remain of a once major flour mill. These are good trout waters, and many are the stories about the great fishing for rainbow and brook trout in the pioneer days. Today, conservation and fish management agencies are active in trying to prevent overfishing, and programs of restocking and stringent fishing limits are showing results. Once, the farmer's only supply of sugar came from his maple tree woodlot. Today, maple syrup time, or sugaring as it's called, can be a pleasant Sunday outing for city families after the long winter. Rabbit and squirrel, groundhog and chipmunk are native to these hills. The bison and elk at Rattlesnake Conservation Park near Milton were brought here from Western Canada. They're thriving, though rather shy of visitors. For botanists, too, there are many rare and colorful flowers to study. Special areas have been and are being developed to preserve wild lilies, wild orchids, and honeysuckle, among others. Economic pressures are many from industry and housing developers. But so far, about 20,000 acres have been acquired through public funds, and parks are being established to provide space for community activities. The hills were homesteaded about 150 years ago. Most are small family farms, sheep, dairy, and beef, and some wheat and corn is grown on the fields that generations labored to clear of rocks. At the southern end of the escarpment lies the fruit belt of the Niagara Peninsula. Here, good harvests are achieved by the late blooming that's caused by the cold winds of Lake Ontario, retarding fruit development until danger of frost is past. It is also one of Canada's major wine-producing areas. And, of course, the northern spy apple is world-renowned. An important link in the seaway is the Welland Canal. It connects Lake Ontario with Lake Erie, making the ports on the upper lakes accessible to ocean-going vessels. A series of locks lifts the ships through the escarpment, making it possible to bypass the obstacle of Niagara Falls. Starting here at Queenston, overlooking the Niagara Gorge, a 500-mile-long hiking trail winds its way along the ridge of the Niagara Escarpment. Bruce Trail was started in 1962, and through the efforts of the volunteers of the Federation of Ontario Naturalists, it has become a path on which everyone can learn to appreciate the beauties of the escarpment.